Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Well, if this was another year, this is the part of the luncheon where we would be chatting over wine, trading buttons to find our tribe, or putting together a puzzle to reveal our superpowers. But it's 2020, and the pandemic makes that impossible. But it's not impossible to network and still have a good time. So I invite you to join me in the opening Zoom breakout room where we can talk, where we'll reminisce about the past 10 years, and in keeping with the event theme, hats off to the women in the channel, I'll get you to turn your cameras on and we'll take a group picture. So make sure, hopefully you've got a hat on, and just scroll down the platform a bit and click on the opening breakout room link, and I'll meet you inside. I hope you found that opening section fun and nostalgic, even with some technical difficulties. Well, we'll make sure everyone attending gets a copy of that group picture as part of the thank you for attending. So who can believe we started off at that small gathering at the Boulevard Club 10 years ago with a few tables of women that we would then see this event grow to over 250 plus channel women registered. Were there even 250 senior women of rank in the channel then? 10 years ago, we looked at the world through computer dealer news lenses. As today, our lens and our stories were modernized to channel daily news. The channel has changed. The role of women in the channel has changed. And as the world has changed, so has this event. This luncheon was always a highlight of my year. It's been an opportunity to gather and catch up in an informal and always beautiful setting, be inspired by great speakers, honor our own, and just be surrounded by gorgeous, tremendous women. And it's still a luncheon. While we can't serve up a delicious meal on a table laden with flowers, we provide the virtual alternative, a downloadable gift card. At some point during the event, scroll down to the snack bar, sponsored by Ingram Micro, and choose between a $15 Uber Eats card or a $15 donation to Food Banks Canada supporting their COVID-19 program. One selection per attendee, please. So while we are virtual, we are trying to keep as much of the live feel as possible. We're able to do this thanks to the continued supporting sponsors, Eaton, Epson, HP, the Canadian Channel Chiefs Council, and WCT. So the theme for the event today, as you know, is hats off to the women of the channel. We wanted it to be an opportunity for everyone to just take a 90-minute break from their hectic pandemic-fueled lives and offer a kind word to someone who has helped you along the way recently or earlier in your career. And here's how you can do it. Use hashtag CDNWomen with a shout out to one of our winners on Twitter, and it will show up on the Hats Off wall on the platform right beside the main viewing screen. Or consider joining the Ingram Micro Networking breakout room during the middle of the event for a live discussion, and you can throw your bouquet there. But you can do both, so it's not that you're limited to one or the other. So if you have a general comment for today's event, we still want to hear from you on Twitter. Use hashtag CDNWomen, and the comment will appear on the platform's live Twitter section. So we're keeping to the tradition of an inspiring speaker. Over the years, we've heard rousing presentations from inspiring women that included hockey legend Angela James, television host Deanie Petty, Ann Sato, the president of George Brown, Lisa Lisson, president of FedEx, among others. Today's speaker, Veronica Tennant, spoke at our second luncheon, and she was very inspiring. I thought for our 10th anniversary, it would be appropriate to have her back. She is one of our Canadian icons, prima ballerina. And so she is. So in lieu of a live appearance, she put together a very personal mini documentary just for us. So we feel very honored. If you're a longtime attendee and recall a favorite luncheon speaker or a moment from a presentation that inspired you, why don't you share it on Twitter at hashtag CDNWomen. So before I introduce Bill Brandell, the co-host for the luncheon, I'm going to turn it over to Corinne Sharp, president of the Canadian Channel Chiefs Council, fondly known as C4. Corinne?
Thanks, Fawn. The Canadian Channel Chiefs Council is proud to be a sponsor of today's event. The Council, as Fawn said, is affectionately known as C4 and is the voice of channel professionals in Canada. Membership is made up of IT vendors of all sizes that are focused on how to build, grow, and optimize their partner ecosystems. We support and focus on all roles within channel business and look to accelerate career paths of channel leaders in their strategic role within their organizations through education, networking, and peer group mentoring. The pandemic has meant change for everyone, and especially for the channel. And as a council, we've gone to virtual meetings and events, and it looks like it may be that way for a little while. It's been longer than we expected, and successful channel businesses have had to adapt. Sitting and waiting for things to return to normal is not going to be an option. We are hearing repeatedly from research organizations such as IDC and NPD that the pandemic represents a shift, and the ones who are innovative will thrive and survive. Today, we are here to celebrate success of women in the IT channel. I'm always honored to be part of this incredible event. C4's role today was to help amp up the celebration by helping judge the nominations of the Rising Star of the Year and the Mentor of the Year award that you will see recognized at the end of the afternoon. The range of nominations and the enthusiasm of the submitters made this selection really difficult, but left the judging panel refreshed by the amazing accomplishments of the nominees and full of hope for our future. Have a lovely lunch, and back to you, Fawn.
Well, Ingram Micro and Bill Brandell are great friends of this event. They see the value of celebrating the role of women and have numerous programs internally to ensure women like Kelly Carter, Marilyn Hall, and Jennifer Villers are taking the center stage and given the opportunity to lead and share. Bill has been at Ingram Micro for 23 years and serves as Senior Vice President and Chief Executive for Canada. He says he's seen a lot of change in his time, but nothing like the change resulting from the pandemic. Over to you, Bill.
Thank you, Fawn. By now, all of you who know me know that this is my favorite event of the year. As a father of two amazing young women, I tell them every day they can do and be anything they want. And so coming to this event every year has always been so amazing for me to work with all of you amazing women in our IT channel to help you realize your dreams and on your goals. You know, 4 years has gone by in a flash, but together we have done some amazing things. And it is amazing to watch the strength of our community and how much we've grown over the past 4 years. I can tell you that the inductees that I've reviewed as we were preparing for this year's event, you know, these women are powerful women in our channel. I look at Marianne Ewell, one of my close friends, who was honored in 2011 and inducted into the hall as one of our first powerful women of the channel. And I watch her career continue to grow, and she is extremely inspiring if you get to know her. If you don't know her, make a point of reaching out to her because she's an amazing person. But again, Forrester Research had actually said that an average career in our IT channel is 4.7 years. Yet many of these women have been in this industry for 23 years. There has been progress for sure. But to fight for greater diversity within corporate leadership should be our main focus right now. And I will say that this battle has become even more of a focus as the Black Lives Matter initiative has truly started to spark real change in all of our industries. So I am pleased. I am so pleased again to be part of this. And I have to say personally, I'm proud of Ingram Micro and our continued focus on driving diversity in our IT channel. We have specific programs and organizational opportunities to help women develop skills that can help their careers soar, to create the networks that may have shut them out in the past, but will help them grow in the future. You'll hear from a couple of these leaders in just a few minutes, but I can tell you that the tech sector must attract more women and reflect greater diversity if it is to unlock the potential of the fourth industrial revolution. To ensure both business and technology are developed from a balanced perspective. Diversity is good for business. You know, research by Deloitte, we've talked about this before, but research by Deloitte suggests that companies with an inclusive culture are 6 times more likely to be innovative. By staying ahead of changes, they are twice as likely to hit their financial targets. and their business goals. This means providing female mentors and role models, demonstrating trust, rather than just talking about it. Creating an environment that engages collaboration and using technology to break barriers are critically important. Women can lead our sector forward. And now that COVID-19 and this entire pandemic has made technology all pervasive, the traditional sector lines have become blurred. Brands that cling to the old structures will find themselves overtaken and left in the dust. This is when women's ability to empathize and to compromise becomes a powerful tool. If technology is supposed to service the whole of humanity, the big decisions need to be taken from a balanced perspective. It's really that simple. And not just in business. The emergence of female leaders can become a powerful force for good in the world. We only need to look at the example of that teenage activist, Greta Thunberg. If I reflect back on Stephanie Mead's book, The Art of Strategic Leadership, she made a couple of powerful quotes. If you want to be relevant in the future, you have no choice but to change and evolve. Leaders have the responsibility to build support a culture where breaking down ingrained habits and old standards is recognized as an important part of rebuilding and creating a stronger, more successful organization. They not only see the need for change, they work hard to identify and manage resistance in order to push the need for change forward. When women are given the support they need to become unique leaders, rather than doing things the way they've always been done, we strengthen our organizations. You might not see it right now, but I truly believe that all of you, in one way or another, are leaders. Whether in your family, your community, in the public sector, in the non-for-profit sector, and especially in our IT channel. You are role models to upcoming generations. As citizens, each of us has the responsibility for changing our little corner of the world. So I invite you to connect to inspiration in whatever form that takes. Recognize that while the world that we are living in is often unfair, if we connect and support each other, we have the power to create change and something entirely different for the future. If you are wondering where to start, that seed of change can be planted very easily, but it starts with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. That was amazing, and I agree with you on all the points you've made. Very heartfelt. Thank you. Each year when we come together at this event, we like to acknowledge strong female role models like Mary Ann Ewell that the younger generations in the room can learn from as they move forward with their careers. Over the past 9 years, we have honored close to 50 women, all of whom have been now inducted into the CDN Women in the IT Channel Hall of Fame. A showing of all the members will be played at the closing of the event. The 3 individuals we chose this year truly pay it forward, not only in the industry, but in their everyday lives. We will be honoring 2 before lunch and 2 more following our guest speaker. So to introduce our first inductee, please welcome Cheryl Hicks, President of Technology Solutions, Inc., and one of our inaugural inductees in 2011.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cheryl Hicks, President and owner of Technology Solutions International. There have been a lot of changes in the channel over the last 9 years, but I still remember the excitement that I felt when I was named an honoree during the first year of the luncheon. I am so pleased to be able to help pass that forward and provide a new honoree an opportunity for that same excitement and the acknowledgement by her peers, although virtually this year. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first Hall of Fame inductee for 2020, Iva Harris. Iva has been with Soft Landing, a Vancouver-based cloud and managed services provider, since its inception 20 years ago. Iva leads project management, bringing a wealth of experience to delivery initiatives across Soft Landing's varied customer base. Future-focused and customer-centric, she helps organizations find their digital future through the transformation of everything from their infrastructure to their application development strategy. It is that kind of commitment that allowed the firm to claim 69th spot on CDN's 2020 Top 100 Solution Providers ranking earlier this year. Before joining Soft Landing, Iva was a senior project manager at Syscom Consulting, where she implemented enterprise content management solutions. Iva is that great example of persistence, of steadily seeking high performance, where getting the job done over and over again is a reward unto itself. This kind of excellence is not always given the spotlight, but in this case, we're doing just that. Today, we welcome to the hall a true high achiever who is a credit and an inspiration to all women in the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video recognizing the accomplishments of Iva Harris.
Iva Harris is well known to Canadian enterprises and public sector offices. Our next Hall of Fame inductee has been with Soft Landing since its inception in 2000, and for the past 20 years has been helping clients move their critical business workloads to the cloud and cut through much of the noise that plagues the tech market. With a wealth of experience in project and change management, Iva brings a strong body of knowledge to each engagement and team she works with. That experience is bolstered by several years with Syscom Consulting, where she was responsible for implementing enterprise content management solutions prior to joining Soft Landing. Over the past 6 months, Iva has met with dozens of new clients scrambling to modernize business in the midst of the remote work era.
Because of COVID, a lot of our clients have kind of had to make the shift to the cloud and provide their workforce with the ability to work and being able to still collaborate with one another and their business partners and clients in a secure way. So we've done a lot of projects like that in the last 6 months. And so, yeah, we've had a lot of wins in that regard because people can still continue working effectively, even though when they're not physically in the office.
Change management is a collective term for all the approaches to prepare, support, and help individuals, teams, and organizations in making organizational change. Unfortunately, it's been like pulling teeth for most of the industry to diversify its workforce and hiring pipelines. Iva says the change management space could use more women to help spur these types of changes internally.
I think that there's a lot of opportunity within the space for women to really help guide how this change can happen within organizations, because technology is only as good as how people can use it. So there's a big component to the change management aspect of being able to work in a transformed workplace. So things like adoption planning and communication plans, and really have assisting clients with being able to have a good strategy on how we can teach people how to adopt technologies within the organizations. I think is a big part of the change itself. So I feel that there should be a lot of work in that area coming up that women can definitely be part of.
If you want to know what steady progress through hard work looks like, look no further than Iva Harris. Congratulations once again for becoming one of this year's Hall of Fame inductees.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you very much to IT World Canada for selecting me for this year's Women in IT Award. I really was totally unexpected from my side, and it's really truly an honor. I also wanted to thank Caroline, who nominated me, and also really thank the entire Soft Landing team, and look forward to being part of the channel going forward.
Thank you, Cheryl, and congratulations, Iva. We really welcome the opportunity to do virtual events like this because it opens the door to participation from women like yourself in Vancouver who have rarely had the opportunity to take in what has been a Toronto-based event. So now I'm really pleased to introduce Ingram Micro's fabulous marketing leader, Jennifer Villers, who will introduce our second nominee.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Villers from Ingram Micro. I feel honored to make this presentation because it hits close to home for me. Our second honoree launched her multifaceted career at Ingram Micro many years ago, and I like to think some of the lessons she learned while she was here helped carry her forward in the rest of her career. The second inductee into the 2020 Hall of Fame is Strategic Marketing Matters Principal Mary Whittle, someone who has proven herself time and time again. Over 30 years as a corporate executive and strategic consultant, she forged rock-solid relationships with the world's largest tech companies and spearheaded innovative business practices to capitalize on developing trends. Mary has helped light a path for women who themselves aspire to excellence and prominence. In Mary, these women have a role model without a peer. Mary began her tech career with Ingram Micro back in 1988, when the idea of a PC was still cutting edge. From 1988 to the present, Mary was about making technology easier to understand, implement, and benefit from for sales and customers alike. She still is. For the past decade and a half, Mary has held US global-based positions with Symbol Technologies, Avaya, and Westcon. Mary has established and led multiple cross-functional organizations or served on C-level leadership advisory teams at every company in which she worked. Her contributions to the channel are considerable, with honors that include recognition as a CDN Top 25 Newsmaker in 2009, a Top Woman in IT in 2011, and she was named Volunteer of the Year for the Information Technology Association of Canada in 2017. Today, we add to that list and officially induct Mary Whittle into the Women in IT Hall of Fame. Let's take a look at this video the ITWC team has put together about Mary.
One of today's Hall of Fame honorees had a front row seat to the transformation taking place in the enterprise through the lens of distributor Ingram Micro. Mary Whittle's journey there began in 1988 when PCs were just becoming a household name. By 1996, she was chosen to establish a global marketing organization at Ingram Micro. And it was around that time, she says, globalization introduced enormous complexities in sales and marketing.
My role was to pull together the leads in all of our countries, the VPs of marketing, VPs of vendor management, and we became a team. And we just worked with whichever vendors needed us to, well, first of all, holistically, we branded ourselves, right, as a global company. And then we helped the vendors be able to do that as well in the various countries. So, and today I can tell you, because in recent positions, I've still been working in this space, and it's still hard. It really didn't get easier. So it's heavy lifting. It's a tough challenge for vendors and partners alike.
In 2000, Mary established an e-commerce business as well as a technology consulting practice, and for the last 15 years has held prominent positions with powerhouses like Avaya and Motorola. But today's trends and M&A activity in the channel hasn't escaped her. She remains fiercely passionate about the channel industry and says it remains overlooked despite all the legwork it's doing to help businesses transform and modernize.
So there's a group of organizations, hundreds and hundreds of them as we know them as VARs, or channel partners, or solution providers or whatever, that are contributing somewhere between $8 and $16 billion worth of revenue and value into the ecosystem that almost no end customer has any clue about. I just think that's weird. I think that's, and that visibility or lack of visibility is another contributor to the whole reason why Amazon will be successful, because they don't know what they're missing. They don't realize that they're not getting that part when they go with Amazon.
Congratulations once again to Mary Whittle for being one of this year's Hall of Fame honorees.
Thank you to the IT World folks and to the judging committee for this incredible honor. There still is a diversity issue in the tech industry, and pulling this out and making it visible, I think is incredibly important. We need to encourage our young women to bring their very best to work every day. And the whole idea of mentorship is incredibly important for this to overcome the challenge of, disparate gender leadership positions. And so this is really good work you're doing. And I so appreciate being entered into the Hall of Fame, and also for the 30 plus years that this industry has given me probably the most enviable career that I could ever imagine anyone having. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer, and congratulations, Mary. I've known Mary for many years, and her positive energy and her infectious laugh gets me every time. And I'm pleased, so pleased she's getting this recognition she justly deserves. So if you agree with me, why not have something appear on the Hats Off wall by just putting down hashtag CDN Women? We'll get to our third nominee in a few minutes, but I want to turn the virtual podium over to Kelly Carter, the CFO at Ingram Micro Canada. Kelly has only been in the role since December 2019, but she brings years of experience creating industry-leading financial solutions for Ingram in the US. Here's Kelly to introduce our keynote presentation, Veronica Tennant.
As Chief Financial Officer of Ingram Micro, my job is not all about the numbers as some people suspect. I get to meet many interesting and accomplished people across North America. It's one of the perks of the job. And some of the most interesting of the accomplished people I've met are interesting because of the life journeys they have traveled. They have done a variety of vastly different things. They have been unafraid to take risks and transform their careers in unexpected ways, all of which allow them to bring interesting perspectives to problem solving and conversation. Our guest speaker is just that kind of person. A national cultural icon, she might have faded away after a 25-year career as prima ballerina with the National Ballet of Canada. She would be remembered for her dramatic talents, dancing with luminaries such as Rudolf Nureyev and Mikhail Baryshnikov, and for many people, that would be enough. But that's not who she is. That was just one chapter in a book that is still being written. Chapters since have seen her draw acclaim as an award-winning filmmaker, a producer-director for stage and television, and working with authors like Michael Ondaatje, filming Litz Alfonso in Cuba, the author of 2 children's books, and since 1995, one of Canada's national ambassadors for UNICEF. Her most recent project, Christopher Plummer, a memoir, was screened at Hot Docs last year. Among her many honors, Veronica Tennant holds 5 honorary degrees, is an inductee in Canada's Walk of Fame, a Governor General's Performing Arts Award recipient, and is a Companion of the Order of Canada, the Order's highest level. When we approached Veronica to see if she would consider reappearing for an encore performance at the Women in the IT Channel Recognition Luncheon, she readily agreed. She said it was timely because she'd been inspired during the COVID pandemic to discover how technology was transforming our world, including her fellow artists' response and inventiveness, and she appreciated this opportunity to add her commentary to the community discussion.
Hello, thank you for that really lovely introduction, and hats off to you, Canadian Women in the IT Channel. As you can see, I took all of mine off too, and well, I don't know about you, but it's kind of cool in these times to have our shoes off too, huh? 10 years ago, yes, I have a delightful memory of speaking with you, and I want to congratulate you today, honorees and all of you super achievers. And riffing on 10, it makes me smile, remembering my daughter's 10th birthday. She came to me very serious and she said, "Mom, It's something about these birthdays with a zero. They kind of make you pause, don't they? Indeed. And so now in 2020, 2 zeros, the whole world has paused. Could you ever have imagined the change that you personally have gone through in your life in 2020? The seismic, shattering quake that has linked every one of us around the globe, just holding on into what can only be called a collective catharsis. Our diverse populations have been arrested. They've been stopped in their tracks, forced to wake up to facing the impact we have upon each other. I have a favorite saying about art. Art is any human endeavor that combines imagination and skill. And so I have been mulling on the concept of art intersecting with technology, and I want to share how innovative those artists, especially dear to my heart, are. Each of these friends and artists inspires with a potent combination of resilience and defiance, imagination, and highly skilled creativity. I have to say this, in my various careers, I've been so blessed to have experienced the brilliance and really the wonderful generosity of such a wide number of wonderful creative artists. I'm going to give you a quote now. It's by Margaret Atwood. People use the word technology only to mean digital technology. Technology is actually everything we make. My life, my lives in the ballet and film, in stagecraft, in storytelling, have always been about community, about gathering to share and to communicate. I have a wonderfully fond memory. Picture this, baking hot summer night in Syracuse, Italy, right at the bottom of the boot, of Italy's boot. A Roman Greek amphitheater where we were dancing for an audience that gathered in the layers and layers of stone seating that had been there for hundreds of years. It was overwhelming, not only to feel them there, but to hear them. They're very vocal in Italy, and amidst those bravos and applause, there were also the echoes and the whispers of thousands of years of spectators who gather for performance. It was just magical. And so here's how my circles in the arts of performance, of filmmaking, of communicating have reinvented themselves to stay alive in these times. Call it enforced transformation. Real Canada. Jack Bloom and Sharon Corder are the visionaries who 15 years ago had a dream of uniting our nation through film. Initially, the achievement was to screen films in the high schools, grow an audience in direct interaction with our nation, with teachers, with students, with filmmakers. And then we vaulted from those huge successes to an ambitiously wide range of programs. And then there's the annual National Canadian Film Day, which started as a notion and has now become a cultural phenomenon. Watch this.
National Canadian Film Day was launched in 2014, and it quickly grew to become the world's largest one-day film festival. Every year, Canadians all over the planet gather to watch great Canadian films and honor our film artists. Our team had been planning this year's celebration for months when the entire world was destabilized by the COVID-19 pandemic. It quickly became evident that we would have to cancel more than 1,000 live screening events, but we never considered canceling National Canadian Film Day entirely. We felt that it was even more important to give Canadians a chance to come together. We couldn't gather in theaters to celebrate our filmmakers, but it was important to us to find a way to keep each other company. We reached out to all of our screening partners across the country and engaged them to host online watch parties followed by live virtual Q&As. But the heart of the celebration was a 4.5-hour interactive live stream, an unprecedented broadcast produced entirely in isolation, celebrating Canadian film and also the very idea of Canada itself, featuring Canadian actors, filmmakers, and other special guests.
There's a real common sense artistry to Canadian people.
There's a movie and a TV show here, produced here, that's being produced here for everyone.
There are tons of younger people who I want to support.
This period of isolation was difficult for everyone, but National Canadian Film Day was able to unite Canadians everywhere in a unique way like never before.
And speaking of our youth, let me introduce you to a good friend who's just finished her first year of university. Emma is 18 and she's a brilliant young woman on the cusp of her individual step out. And she's stepping out into a world that has now changed irrevocably from where she began last year. I asked her about technology, how she's utilized it and her friends of her, people of her generation for communicating, for educating, for learning, and for leisure.
Technology in general, and a good Wi-Fi connection, is almost a requirement in times such as these. Within 2 weeks of school shutting down in this past March, many of my teachers had transitioned to using virtual software, including Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and Cisco WebEx. Nothing beats in-person instruction, but I was definitely really pleasantly surprised to see how we could have an equal quality education delivered at home on our computer, which I never really expected I would have to experience. I've also been challenged to use technology in ways that I never expected to. I've recently started working as a part-time math instructor, delivering lessons virtually, and I'm really impressed how virtual education software can actually mimic all the elements required for in-person instruction. However, I would like to acknowledge that my experience is quite different from other students and other educators, because not everyone has the luxury of having a personal device that they can use for school, for working, or for their leisure. And I think access to technology specifically will be very important as virtual programming becomes the new norm. As for communication and leisure, my friends and I have found several ways to use technology to stay connected because we can't see each other face to face. This includes watching Netflix together using the share screen function on Zoom. And personally, I also use social media, primarily Instagram, to stay informed by following news accounts and organizations.
Thank you, Emma. Good luck with next year. Now, the ever amazing Margaret Atwood, whom I've known for so many years and was really honored to work with on the Penelopiad in England at the Royal Shakespearean Company in Stratford-upon-Avon. How does one begin to describe her genius? You, of course, know her as the incomparable multi-award-winning poet, novelist, essayist, passionate environmentalist. Well, she's also an inventor. And Margaret Atwood is the ultimate sophisticated techie. She's the queen of tweets, a prolific Twitter presence. I think she's got at least 1.9 million followers. And years ago, and really early in this whole part of technology magic, she invented the virtual autograph long pen. Margaret Atwood, you're amazing. Just last week, my daughter, who's had a few more birthdays with a zero, who lives in New York with her husband and their son, 2 years old, whom I haven't seen since Christmas and really hope and don't know if I will see them this Christmas. Well, they wanted to connect, and she invited me to a Zoom session with a concert pianist in Paris. We were 6 people. Joining us, Jessica was in New York, Pablo was in Brazil, his girlfriend Ellie was stuck in Singapore, Karen was in Vancouver, and I was in Toronto. What a wonderful pianist our host was. Her Mozart was sublime. And she had also asked us to share a poem. Now, in that international grouping of 6, would you believe that 2 people chose a poem by Margaret Atwood? Mine was called Dancing, and our host, get this, read a poem that an inmate from an American prison had sent to her. It was Faster by Margaret Atwood. Did I say we were 6? 6 degrees of separation leaps to mind. It became very human and very real. To be a dancer, I've always said that when you dance, you pledge a commitment to the collective. From that very first day that we place our hand on the bar and we do our pliés and then repeat to the other side at the age of 5, 8, or 10 as we are students, and then 15, 38, 50 when we're professional, we always do it together. Meet Simon. He's 15 and he's been dancing since he was 3, a very serious and totally dedicated young dancer at Canada's National Ballet School.
I started dancing professionally at Canada's National Ballet School from grade 6, so I've been at the school professionally for 5 years.
So Simon, tell me how it's been for you when you couldn't be at the school these last few months.
Well, it's been hard being away from my classmates, and even though you can see each other on a computer or through a meeting, it's never really the same as being in person and having that energy in the room with you, which also comes from the pianist as well as the teacher. It helps to fuel you and motivate you, and you can see your fellow classmates training and working hard toward the same dream that you have. So that's always hard to motivate yourself on your own without anyone else to help you. That being said, it was a good experience. It's very important to have that skill and be able to look inside you and find something to motivate you.
So what did you do in those months when you were forced to be on your own and you needed to keep up your training?
I found that I looked for instances possibly in my career, I'm going into grade 11 and grade 12. This is when we really start to look at where we want to go for companies or places to dance. And I started thinking about how close my future really is. It kind of sneaks up on you. So I used that as motivation. Even going back when you have the pains and the aches, the excitement and the energy you get from dancing really, for me, it fuels me. And going back to it, I had missed it for so long. Even we were only really allowed to do much of a bar at home with the space we had. And you never had that feeling of building up or anticipation in class, of doing an exercise, or even trying to prove to the teacher that you can understand their correction or you are doing something well. So it's been really fun to have that feeling, and I do believe it has been heightened, or I've been feeling it more recently, just with all the pleasure and enjoyment of being back in the studio.
Simon, thank you. Okay, so the past 10 years, I'll give you some quick highlights. Terrific experience to create mini bios for Canada's Walk of Fame.
When all's said and done, I look at to be said I got this place on time right. Hopefully, I will have been some kind of witness and left a record of what was here at one time.
Mordecai Richler, the truth teller, the humorist, the witness, lived a ferocious 70 years, fueled by his 2 passionate obsessions, writing and his beautiful wife, Florence, and family of 5 children.
And I asked his high school friend to narrate it. That was Christopher Plummer. And then the incomparable Dr. Roberta Bonder.
How's that for inspiring?
3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff. Liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
In 1992, as the first neurologist and the first Canadian woman in space, Dr. Roberta Bonder made history. And when Roberta says that Canada is the most beautiful country on Earth, she can claim this from a perspective that is truly unique.
And she continues to amaze us as an extraordinary photographer, a passionate environmentalist, and tireless, as she says, a cheerleader for women and a role model for men. In 2015, the Pan Am Games came to Toronto, and what an experience that was. Athletes from all over the Americas and an incredible arts and culture program called Panamania. Niagara, a Pan-American Story, was a live multimedia show, a fusion of dramatic text with stellar actors, Renee Millan and Paula Rivera, and that beautiful voice of the iconic Brent Carver.
The thunder roars and blows. Ah, what sorrows memory brings me.
Surging Niagara, only you can restore to me that precious gift that life has torn away.
Niagara 1, 2. Tu sublime terror solo podría tornarme el don divino.
You reject your family, your country, your race.
I embrace my brothers, all Cubans, black and white, and wonder.
Niagara has his soul.
A poem that to this day, every single child in Cuba learns. It's part of their cultural heritage.
Dadme mi lira, dádmela, que siento en mi alma estremecida y agitada arder la inspiración.
And so now, let's go back to technology and look at the power of the smartphone. Look what happened that galvanized the world just weeks ago. A 17-year-old high school student captures a horrific scene that launches a worldwide movement and unforgivably an overdue revolution. And then there's UNICEF. Just a few weeks ago, they announced something so exciting. The family of Bob Marley has released a beautifully reimagined single.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright.
Our children really need the help right now. And I think I'll close by sharing gratitude. Thanks to my dear friend, Karen Kane, the Artistic Director of the National Ballet of Canada, the ever overflowing generosity of our dancers, and the musicians led by David Briskin. want to thank you for this invitation. It's been inspiring to work on. I can't tell you how much. So over to you, and again, congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Tennant. That was great. I'm certain there'll be notes on the hats off wall from our guest, sharing your appreciation for your words today, that we're all part of the greater collective. So in just a very few minutes, we're going to take a networking break where you can jump into the Ingram Micro breakout room where Bill Brandell will be sharing his thoughts on the current state of the channel, and he is anxious to hear your thoughts as well. But before we do that, we have one more honoree to induct into the Women in the IT Channel Hall of Fame. Our third honoree is Karen Pugliese, a Canadian country leader for CommScope, a global leader in infrastructure solutions for communications networks. In her leadership capacity, Karen oversees sales, the indirect channel, customer management, and the full suite of CommScope solutions to enterprise customers across Canada. You know, one common thread in the careers of many of the inductees into the Women in the IT Channel Hall of Fame share is an ability to evolve and adapt to change. As Stephen Hawking famously said, intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. You look at the career paths of our Hall of Famers, and you see individuals with the need to constantly grow and evolve. This is certainly the case with Karen, who previous to CommScope held and excelled in executive roles with GE Capital, GE Healthcare, Stanley Security, and Katz Group. Karen is a much sought-after speaker who brings an absolute wealth of knowledge and experience on topics ranging from women in leadership and mentorship to smart buildings and smart cities. She sits on multiple boards and was recently nominated to the board of WCT Waterloo. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure indeed to welcome to the Women in the IT Channel Hall of Fame a highly respected name in the channel and someone for all professional women in Canada to look up to and emulate, Karen Pugliese. Please roll the third honoree video.
Acquisitions aren't easy, but our next Hall of Fame inductee from CommScope successfully navigated those murky waters over the past year after a $7.4 billion acquisition of communications and networking specialist Eris International, which owns Ruckus, back in April 2019. Karen Pugliese, country leader for Canada at CommScope, has had to not only familiarize herself with a new lineup of products and services, but cleverly weave together an existing infrastructure business and a new networking business that end users and distributors could understand.
There were two aspects of that were kind of challenging. One, certainly the infrastructure business and the networking business have different sales cycles. The infrastructure business is very focused on the construction market, very focused on net new building, that greenfield space. Our networking business is a little bit more focused on existing customer base, is focused on existing sites, in a lot of cases, different partners, certainly different distribution channels. And so that was a pretty big change for us to try to figure out how do we bring these two business units together and really leverage the concept of better together. How do we take this to add value in the channel to our partners and to our customers?
The past 6 months have challenged management's leadership styles and efforts to keep team members focused. Pugliese says a number of small additions to the daily routine, such as casual morning coffee meetings and short daily briefings, have kept her team energized and focused. But it's clear, she says, that no one knows for sure what exactly the future of work is going to look like, and it's giving both end users and channel partners fits as they try to figure out the formula for how to return to the office safely and what that means for business.
We spent a lot of time just calling our partners and asking them, what can we do for you? If you've got people in the office, can we bring in lunch for you? If you've got people that need to do training, how do we help facilitate that training for you? Are you trying to close a job? Are you trying to get product? Are you trying to get in touch with a customer? Like, what can we do to help you? And I think that if I had to put them in order of importance, I would say that that's probably the first one is, what can we do to help you and your employees and your organization? And for some folks, that's helping them grow their business. And for others, it's just being a really great sounding board as they look at different ways to go to market.
For an outstanding career that is still going strong, beginning with General Electrics and moving through the channel to where she is today, we want to congratulate Pugliese one more time for being one of this year's Hall of Fame inductees.
Very excited about the progress and the engagement that women have continued to have from a channel perspective in the industry. I can remember back to starting at my GE days, we talk a little bit about you see it, you can be it. I had the pleasure and the honor of, starting at GE where we had a female leader, we had a female CFO, we ended up having a female VP of sales, Wendy Lucas, and those women really did kind of inspire me to recognize that your limitations are really limited by how much you're willing to do, how hard you're willing to work, and how much help you're willing to ask for and be willing to receive. Certainly very appreciative of the CommScope organization and my team in Canada just for their continued support and willingness to follow me down this interesting path as we move into the next stages of growth. So thank you so much. It is very much appreciated.
Congratulations, Karen. We all wish we were offering our congratulations in person, but for today, people will be adding their good wishes on the hats off wall on the platform, and we'll make sure all our honorees and award winners get a copy of the kind regards. So now it's time for us to all get together again. Can you follow me into the Ingram Micro breakout room where country leader Bill Brandell will share his thoughts on the state of the channel, and he wants to hear from you. So don't be shy, just press on the breakout room link on the platform. Oh, that was amazing. Wasn't that fun? Well, when there is so much negativity in the media and the COVID news from the South is so grim, it's really nice to hear some optimism. Bravo, bravo. And now it's on to our first of 2 awards that we present annually. Here's VMware Channel Chief Tara Fine to present the 2020 Rising Star Award. Take it away, Tara.
Good afternoon. I'm Tara Fine, Channel Chief at VMware. I'm pleased to be here again to present the Rising Star Award to a woman who's been in the channel for less than 6 years, but is already knocking it out of the park. ITWC receives numerous nominations from across all of the different verticals in the channel. There are some tremendous accomplishments being made by young women who are just finding their feet. But it was clear to the judges that there is something special about our 2020 winner. VMware asks to present the Rising Star winner because we understand how important it is to recognize young talent. This is a dynamic and ever-changing business, and it's easy for a promising young woman to go unnoticed, especially in the new urgency as so many companies try to retool and shift their focus to new niche markets that will take them from survive to thrive. By taking pause and recognizing just one potential superstar, we hope that others will see themselves in her shoes and they will feel empowered to fight on and take their place in the leadership of their organization, thus inspiring many others. It's a virtuous circle. In her nomination form, the 2020 winner was characterized as a smart, caring, wonderful human being who wears a smile no matter what the turmoil around her is. She started with her company in 2015 as an account manager and has progressed through the ranks as a channel account specialist and today serves as a category manager. She's gone from managing 8 to 12 vendors to indirectly managing over 50 vendors and managing a team of 3 others in just the last 18 months. She's taken her own time to coach and groom her team to excel, and one of her trainees, after 8 months in the industry, went on to a BDM PM role of her own for a single vendor within Ingram. Proactive, customer-centric in her approach and modest, I'm happy to acknowledge Jamina Haddad, Category Manager, Pro AV Digital Signage at Ingram Micro, as this year's Rising Star of the Year. Let's watch this video as she talks to ITWC about this honor.
Her title is Category Manager, but that doesn't come close to telling our Rising Star winner's full story. Jamana Haddad started in sales just under 5 years ago at Ingram Micro and quickly moved up the ladder to become a product manager. She went from managing 8 to 12 vendors to indirectly managing over 50 and is now helping manage a team of 3.
I have been in my current role of a category manager for the Pro AV Digital Signage for about a year and a half. So currently what my role entails is a very holistic, high-level, macro-level perspective of the business unit. My primary job would be to manage the back end of the business, so a lot more on the inventory, the P&L, ensuring that we're hitting our metrics and we're profitable. So under my patch currently, I have about 20 plus vendors. I would say it's a category worth around $140 million a year. I would say that the way I would define it has been very positive. It has been very challenging, and I feel that every time that I look back month to month or quarter to quarter, I've noticed that I have definitely grown. I have hit a new milestone. I have been challenged, and I feel like that's what keeps me on my toes. I'm the type of person that needs to always be challenged to stay motivated, and I would definitely say that that's what this role is.
Sharp Electronics National Account Manager Dan Rancourt says that when he first joined the company in 2019, Haddad helped look into what accounts had seen drops, set up conference calls between those accounts and her team to see how they could get their business back. He says he's certain she will go far in this industry. And when you consider how this year's Rising Star is already leading a team of her own and putting them in positions to succeed, it's easy to imagine sunny days ahead.
As you know, I mentioned I work on the back end of the business. So on the front end, we have 4 lovely ladies that work. 3 of them have basically been brought on, I think it's been about a year now. And I think that being able to mentor them and train them and see where they've come from being fresh grads, not knowing much about the industry like myself, to now having such a full well-versed knowledge of the industry, right? And I guess to continue to see them grow, that has been probably the biggest highlights and the biggest win, to know that I'm working alongside of these women that have definitely conquered this space, and it makes me really proud.
Congratulations again to this year's Rising Star Award winner, Jimena Haddad.
I would definitely love to thank Ingram Micro as a whole for definitely having this platform, for being part of these sort of programs, for recognizing women in IT, and for definitely recognizing their employees and for the hard work that they've done. I would like to thank my manager and my leadership team. I think that they have done a tremendous job in making sure that career development is top of mind for their employees, and noticing and taking accountability and realizing where they can implement new steps and take their employees further, as long as that person is willing to.
Thanks, Tara and VMware for being loyal supporters of this event, and congratulations, Jimena. So we have one more inspiring story left before we are finished for the day, and I'm pleased to welcome back C4's president, Corinne Sharp, to present the award for the 2020 Mentor of the Year.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Fawn. Mentorship means many things to different people. There can be a formal arrangement where a mentor and a mentee meet on a regular basis, set out goals and timetables, and develop a process for passing on knowledge. Other mentor relationships are less formal, and sometimes the individual leading doesn't realize the role they're playing in an individual's life. The luckiest amongst us can point to an influential person, or maybe several people, who have helped shape who we are today. These individuals have worked behind the scenes, generously sharing their time, expertise, and insights to nurture our potential, keep us on track, and help us grow, often personally and professionally. Mentors don't just give us answers, they're wisdom keepers. Drawing on the combination of knowledge and experience, they provide us feedback and encouragement that teach us to find our own answers, how to overcome challenges, and to solve problems and make decisions. And though we tend to think of mentoring as a relationship in which an older, more experienced person passes down his or her wisdom to someone younger, it can take many forms, including peer-to-peer mentoring and reverse mentoring, in which a younger person acts as a guide to another generation. I also find most mentors shun the spotlight. They don't mentor for a potential ego boost or notoriety. They do it quietly as a way to pay it forward. Our Mentor of the Year this year has more than 20 years' experience as a technology thought leader. She began her career in the telco industry and went on to gain experience in architecting and selling advanced networking and security platforms. In 2014, she co-founded Airgate Technologies to bring cloud-first digital transformation solutions to enterprises everywhere. Nicole Mumford's commitment to being a proactive ally for diversity, neurodiversity, and inclusion drives her focus on building a culture where everyone can achieve their true potential. She spends countless hours helping individuals to find their strengths and present the best version of themselves to the world. This is not altruistic. Nicole truly believes different perspectives, and in particular neurodiversity, contributes significantly to successful business outcomes and team culture. With a hiring practice focused on the whole human and a team that includes individuals with autism spectrum disorder, Airgate has built a culture for their consulting and services practice in cloud infrastructure, AI, and data that is driving uniquely differentiated value for customers, employees, partners, and stakeholders alike. Let's roll the video the ITWC team has put together on the CDN 2020 Mentor of the Year, Nicole Mumford, CEO of Airgate Technologies.
No secret that many business leaders feel it's risky to hire employees with disabilities or employees who come from a different background. Airgate's co-founder and chief executive officer, Nicole Mumford, is not one of those people. The company's goal since it was founded in 2014 has been to prioritize inclusiveness and diversity spanning gender, ethnicity, and neurodiversity. When she started her career, people were very disciplined about specific technologies, she says, but in 2020 and beyond, critical thinking, problem-solving skills wrapped around IT and business are the paths forward to success.
And one of the reasons I started a company was because I felt that there was a real opportunity to create a culture that was completely focused on absolute inclusion and equality in that culture, so that everybody had a chance, an opportunity to be their best selves, but also to be as successful as they wanted to be, to really unleash their potential. And I did that because I felt that in my career, there have been lots of times where I didn't get those opportunities when I wanted them or needed them. And I saw that happening around me as well, and really felt that we needed to do that for everyone, not just on a gender basis, but anybody that came from having challenges put in front of them, and to find a way to give them those opportunities that they needed to have. And it's been amazing to see when you remove those walls, those barriers, what people can achieve, sometimes even surprises them. So it's amazing to have that chance to do that.
Airgate has quickly become one of Microsoft's superstar partners thanks to its rapid growth and hiring practices. As a channel partner, Mumford says they placed their bets on Microsoft for several reasons. Microsoft Azure is one of the world's biggest cloud providers, second only to Amazon, and they also have strong relationships with enterprises, Airgate's target customer base. Mumford says business leaders are slowly beginning to understand that diversity of all kinds actually translates to real business outcomes.
We bring networking and security people alongside infrastructure and applications team members and data and AI team members, some of which come from different backgrounds, all of them in fact. I think we have 18 different languages spoken in the company today and 8 different religions represented, but also people that bring different perspectives and different capabilities. So whether that's women and men, whether that is people with different social perspectives or religious perspectives, but also neurodiversity. And some of you may be familiar with the work we've been doing in bringing folks with autism into our organization and turning them into cloud engineers and having them work on some of the most sophisticated technology we have in the market today, and what that has meant and how that's made every single team member better as well.
Another big congratulations to Nicole Mumford for earning this year's Mentor of the Year award.
First of all, I'm extremely humbled, and I was more than a little shocked about receiving this honor. I feel like I'm just getting started, to be honest. I feel like every day is a new day, and there's still so much for us all to do, so much for me to do in terms of making a difference and trying to do small things every day that accumulate incrementally towards some goals. There's so much goodness happening, and I'm so amazed and proud of so many women and allies, and those that are especially proactive in our community in helping each other. And it's so gratifying to see these things happening in our industry, and the ripple effect that that has on customers and partners right across the channel is tremendously exciting. Now, we still have lots and lots more to do, and I'm so enthusiastic about what this great community is going to continue to do, and I can't wait to come and bring that game every single day and continue to do whatever we can, whatever I can personally, to make a difference.
Thank you, Corinne, and congratulations to Nicole. Well, our time together is coming to an end, but you still have time to add a comment on the Hats Off wall or to live tweet a note with the hashtag CDNWomen. So I'd like to offer special thanks to our founding sponsor, Ingram Micro, for making this luncheon possible. And we can't overlook our friends at VMware, Eaton, Epson, and HP. You can find their downloads on the WIT TV platform. So if you haven't visited the Ingram Micro Snack Bar yet to download a gift card or make a donation to Food Banks Canada, you've still got a few minutes. So special thanks to Veronica Tennant, who once again was amazing. And thank you to the staff, the wonderful staff at ITWC, who made this possible from both a creative and a technical point of view. If you're looking to learn more about our honorees or review any part of the program you might have missed, Our editorial team will be posting detailed stories on the platform and on the event webpage on the Channel Daily News website, and you can always reach out to Alex Coop. So for those of you with an interest in cybersecurity, don't miss our MapleSec 2020 in partnership with CIRA, ITWC's 3-day cybersecurity conference slated for October 5 through 7. You can register at maplesec.ca. So I wanted us to finish today by paying tribute to all of the women from the past 9 years and today's inductees by showing our Women in the IT Hall of Fame video. Please stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.